So, hello, my name's Dan. Today, I think it's just a sort of fact video really. I'm going to talk about how the seasons happen. Now, I did sort of try to go into this in my video before on the Flat Earth video. I thought I didn't really explain it too well. I'm going to try again. There's a link to a Professor Stick video, I think, was saying it about on there, about how this person thought that this flat Earth thought the globe Earth things think it happens. That's the sun. I think they thought that the Earth went round the sun like that when it actually goes round like that. Well, technically, it actually goes round like that. Well, round like that, you know what I mean, but it actually wobbles as it moves. I'll go into that in a minute. That's sort of how the seasons are created. The way the light shone on from the Earth. The North Solstice is when it gets to the. That's when it gets to the Tropic of Cancer, and then the equinoxes are when it gets to the equator. That's when there's an awful one where it goes northwards, going to the Tropic of Cancer. And I call it the southward one, it goes to the Tropic of Capricorn. That's basically how the seasons are created. That's how the seasons happen, basically. That's, South Solstice for when it's at the Tropic of Capricorn. Yeah, it's nothing to do with the distance of the sun from the moon. For the Earth from the sun, even. It's nothing to do with the distance from the Earth from the sun. It's to do with. Well, that does affect one thing, though, the distance of the Earth from the sun. It affects when the solar noon is. Basically, that just means when it's halfway between sunrise and sunset. Sunset isn't also at the latest time on when it's the south solstice. Well, if you according to the northern hemisphere, it goes at earlier times later on. It just rises at earlier time. The sun rises at earlier times as well. It doesn't matter when the sun if it's later or later. It just matters how many daylight hours there are, basically. So actually, that's because actually the sun isn't the center of the universe. The center of the universe, the center of the solar system, even the center of the solar system is a point. The sun actually does go around it. There's a few other things I'm sure I wanted to point out. I know I should have written a script. Oh well, stuff might come back to me later. Yeah, the sun does go around that central point as well. Well, that's another thing, because the sun also doesn't. Yeah, the sun. I said about the sun. I said about the sun being this is probably a bit different. The sun being like 400 something. The difference in the size as well. I think it's actually 389 times. That's the distance. 389 times. 400 times difference. The sun actually just looks slightly bigger from the Earth than the moon. Because if you look at it when there's a solar eclipse, there is a slight ring around the moon. Ooh, misses. That's it, really. I think that's all I've got to say. I'm sure there's other things, but it might come back to me later. You know. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. The sun. The sun is the reason for the reason sidereal. I said about the Earth wobbling as it moves. That affects. That's why a sidereal year is a different length to a tropical year. We measure it as a tropical year. It's because the Earth actually wobbles as it moves. That's why it's slightly shorter. That's basically it, really. Also, the Earth doesn't actually spin at the correct south the poles either. What we accept as the geographic poles is just the average of it. It keeps changing all the time what the actual point of it is actually spinning on as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Solar noon, civil seasons. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, my name's Dan, and in the words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes.